Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing this Rakdos Sacrifice deck. I haven't quite played a deck like this on the channel. I don't know if I've ever played a deck like this on the channel at all. That's a lie. I did it once before, but that was post or pre-rotation. This is post-rotation. That is how the past and the present and the future works. But other than that, we are playing with the Disturbing Mirth. This card is a very cool card. Kind of excited to try it out today, but whenever it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another enchantment or creature. If you do, draw 2 cards. When you sacrifice this, we manifest Dread, so it has a kind of clause on it itself to be used as sack fodder later, especially whenever we are trying to use our main key piece in the deck, being the Rottenmouth Viper. As an addition to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way. So for every permanent we sacrifice, if we have 5 on the battlefield that we're willing to do outside of a land, it's a non-land permanent, we can cast the Rottenmouth Viper for 1 black mana. And especially against those kind of aggro decks where we know they don't have a lot of ways to deal with the 6/6, it is more often than not worth doing. And if it's something like the Mirth, we just want to do it anyway because we get a lot of value off of it. But what else does Viper say? Whenever Rottenmouth Viper enters or attacks, a very strong ability, one of my favorite type of abilities. I love enter the battlefield and attack triggers on the same card, Primeval Titan for example. But put a blight counter on it. Then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses 4 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So oftentimes it's going to come in. We'll hit them for 4. Most likely they'll discard a card or sacrifice some random permanent. It doesn't really matter too much, but the problem for them is when Viper swings on turn 2, because we got to play it so early that oftentimes their creature is not big enough to trade off the Viper and kill it. So the Viper ends up getting an extra blight counter on it, making them either discard 1, sack 1, discard 2, sack 2, or just taking 8 and having a 6/6 swing that they have to block. Because technically taking the damage from the blight counters is better than sacking your creature, because your creature can block this as it doesn't have trample. But other than that, we have a lot of things to go into. We play the Blacksmith talent, a card that is undervalued in this deck, that's for sure. When it comes in, it enters, it makes a sword. It's a 1 mana 2 permanent kind of spell that we're looking for. But for 3 mana oftentimes, because we play our hand so fast with so many 1-drops, we can just spend mana to upgrade this and put, at the beginning of combat on your turn, attach target equipment you control to up to 1 creature you control. So oftentimes this sword gets put on a creature for free. In the bottom mode, if we really want to pump mana into it, during your turn, equip the creature you control, get double strike and haste. So if this is all the way up, we happen to play a Viper later, we can kind of attach the sword. That's like, the sword isn't necessarily the best part. It's the fact that now gives the Viper haste and double strike, so oftentimes Viper is going to be enough to win the game there. But outside of that, we have Freebooter, which is a great sacrifice target. We have a Spiteful Hexmage, which acts as another 1 mana 2 permanent type thing, as it puts an enchantment roll token on something for 1 mana. And then we have Clockwork Percussionist, which also fits as just a good sack target. Gleeful Demolition. I accidentally messed up. This is the deck we played today. I talk about it in the outro, kind of some things I would change. But this is supposed to be for Gleeful Demolitions, but that can obviously target the Percussionist, or like the token we make off Gleeful Freebooter, or even the sword if that's where we're at, to make a lot of dudes. It makes the Rottenmouth Viper a lot cheaper. And then we have Torch, because we have so many things that we're willing to bargain for the Torch value, and that gives us more value. So this oftentimes becomes like a 1 mana draw a card, do some other nonsense along with that. And outside of that, this is a pretty budget friendly deck overall. There are some rares and stuff in the deck, as you can see. There's a rare in here somewhere. What is it? As you can see, and kind of the upgraded version. If you have 4 Braids, you can definitely play it over some things like that as I talk in the outro a bit. So definitely, if you want to hear my thoughts, you can tune into that. But other than that, let's just hop into the games. If y'all enjoy my content, please consider subscribing, and let's just head out there and see if we can't get this Rakdos Sacrifice deck going. Alright, the opponent goes first. Removal 4 permanents on turn 2 into like a Viper if I want it, which I will, and I'll sack everything but the Hexmage and attack for 3, I guess. Kind of a spicy one. And they mulligan, so it's less likely to have answers. Very cool. We'll see. Nice. We'll play this little mountain and we'll hold it up for the torch towers. We don't know what this is. The challenger. Fantastic. We just answer that and then we get to come to the board here. Kind of like I said. And against this matchup outside of a shelter, it's like I don't know what I lose to, especially whenever I have a torch to tower that will be held up for the Viper as well all day. Just like that, Viper's pretty good when you put it in play on turn 2, I guess, you know. I could sack everything, but again, I don't want to lose to a shelter. Or I could not sack everything. I could hold up a mana, but I don't want to lose to a shelter, so I'm going to hold the torch. And I guess here I'm just going to go ahead and torch the challenger because I'd rather not wait, right? Because if I wait and they go to shelter this, even though they miss a land, my luck, they'll draw a land and have them both. Whereas if I force them to have land, creature, and the shelter by ghost, like, they have to have everything at that point. And in this case, like, I'm attacking for a ton, doing a lot of damage here. You may sacrifice another creature if you do draw 2. Yeah. We don't quite have that ready. Manifold Mouse, sure. Thing is, like, I'm attacking for like 14. Again, they could have the sheltered. That's the only fear I have. Okay, they go to 2. Decline. So we'll do this one, however. I'll sack this one. That seems about right. We'll put this face down. We only need every, like, an ever so slight amount of damage. And the shelter, of course, can come in, take out the Viper. Then we have to deal with the mouse. But that would take their entire turn and give it double strike and attack out. But then I think they lose. It's just like that. We get there. Very cool. We would have been honestly weirdly better off if it was just mono red and we wouldn't have to play around that shelter card, but so be it. Very cool. All right, well, cool. Kind of a weird hand. We're on the draw. I mean, we make a ton of permanents. We just don't have a use for this. If it's red, we're gonna find ourselves in trouble, but if it's a slower deck, we feel pretty good. So I'm gonna try it. Slower deck slightly, I guess. Let's play this. Gives us way more permanence here. Only really weird part is this is turned off. It's Simic, probably Beanstalk. So this is probably the Simic bounce deck slash, like, whatever you want to call this. Let's do the thing that makes more permanence, right? And then Viper can be 2 mana next turn. I can also make it 1 mana. The only problem is we kind of need them to tap out. Or can we can pay 2, I guess. And honestly, them bouncing the Viper just sucks. Right? I'll play this little guy. I'll play this little guy. We'll go to combat. We'll see if they want to do something cool and hip. Never know. Could be weird fellas at times. I'm just going to pass here. Viper is good, but like these can also kind of be a real nuisance for a while. They haven't cast any spells. I feel like they just have bounce and interaction, so I'm just like not too impressed to do that. Just do red here. Into combat. We'll equip the little item. Didn't have enough to flash anything too crazy in. Bouncing Beanstalk and the Clockwork. Are you bouncing the sword? You want to take more damage here then? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. We're gonna try to just Fanatical Offering next turn. That's a Tolarian Terror. This might be honestly one of the harder matchups because this is one of the few decks that really just tell Viper to go eat grass. They just do not care. They'll either take it or they have all these cards in hand. It's just not good all the way around, to be honest. Re-equip here. Now this could be where they have the flash creature, but we could also offering. Back this one. We'll see what's up. We'll wait till one step, but I would like to look at all three of my cards here. The bad card in general. Put a freebooter down. Let's just pass on this. I want to wait. Man, it just sucks to have a bounce spell. So we're going to probably sack this. Basic land, okay. That just fills up their graveyard a little bit more, makes this a little bit cheaper. Real fear, of course, being like Viper's kind of whack. Now they definitely could flash something in. We could always torch it, but I don't really feel like obligated to do that by any means. Both these creatures is just something that they don't want to have to kill, but they probably have to. Or they can tap it down, I guess. Then we can go for the Viper. The only problem is they're so cheap, as we see right here. Yeah, Beanstalk draw. Sure. Yeah. Try this. I'll have to surveil the first one. Gleeful Demolition is pretty cool. It'll allow us to reset back up. Now they probably go for the bounce here. Then I might be able to Viper it up. Go for the sword, which is interesting. Multiple times so far they've gone for this sword. Oh, I need to have the artifact available. What is this, 3? Yeah. It's fine with me. We know that's on top. Pretty good card to have on top for us. I guess I forgot the artifact would come in off of the freebooter. I forgot I made the treasure. One of the downsides of like doing this. Now here's the real problem is these are just 1 mana and 2 mana, so they just have so many cards. The Viper is just never going to get the value that we need it to. Yeah, just 1 mana bounce spell. Now they can flash this in, tap a thing. It's just so devastating. Can't play around too much. They counter it, I'm just going to concede. Seems like an absolute unwinnable match, if I had to say so. All right, we go first. This is kind of a hand where we can like play the Hexmage, put it on one of these kind of goofy creatures. Yeah, that's fine with me. You just start off with the Verge, play the Freebooter, and then we can play Swamp, put the Hexmage, attach the Curse Roll to something, and then play the little rat. Honestly, against blue-black, I kind of want to play the rat now, but I can't, I guess. That's only artifact, and this makes an enchantment, so let's play the artifact out. Let's play the Hexmage out. Put it on this little guy for now. Still a 1/1, so it doesn't really change anything. And I don't really want to kill this creature regardless, so. Alright. You're in there. Okay. Entire hand is going to be on this battlefield, and all they're gonna try to do is flash in a creature against us. I'll attach here. A card again they don't want to kill, but a card they might have to. They could flood maul this, I guess. I think we get a fish in that case now. Alright. Exile. That does do it. The curse doesn't leave, so they don't die. It's like a little weird how it works, but it is how it works. And now instead of spending mana, I guess. I'll just do this. Anoint's a hard card for us to beat. We'll move the sword to the Percussionist. If they anoint it, that'll suck, but it is what it is. I still get 3 damage through, maybe. Could also cut down this thing. Remember, we get the card until our next end step, so we don't really care that much. Again, if they anoint it or kill it, then I also get to attack for more. Yeah, so they opt to remove the Hexmage. But I still then get 2 damage in, so they kind of only save 1 there. They just didn't really want to kill. Oh, I guess they can't kill with a go for throat. My bad. Apologies. There is a second part to this equation. Now I can give this thing double strength. Their mana's a little strict. They still just don't want to kill the Percussionist, but sometimes you're just going to have to. The Deuce, they take a draw. Okay. I guess re-equip to the creature it's already attached to. Set him down to 7. Blue-black, kind of staggering here. Go for the throat, probably in hand, being very annoying because this is, for whatever reason, an artifact creature. Then we can put old Freebooter out there, have a good time. Thing has double strike. It's already annoying enough. They put a creature in the way. We know where to run it. I got a lot of options, and they're missing lands, so we're benefiting from that as well. Obviously. I'll be back whenever they decide to make a play. Alright, they're back. They sneak attacked me. They were actually thinking very cool. I was texting somebody about plans tomorrow. There's a Jace. Now that's pretty good. I do be shutting that off. Now I have this like confliction where I kind of want to Gleeful Demolition that thing. I could have done all this posts like this turn, but sure. Alright. Sweet. We get a free equip, so no reason to freak out. Put it on a creature they don't want to remove regardless. Oh my lord, it gets haste? Hold on. Why does it get haste? Oh, the bottom part gives it haste. I didn't realize that. Wow, that's crazy. Wait a minute. Oh, dude, we had the dog coming. Whenever another creature you control gets 2 and gains haste in turn, when it dies, creature you control return it to the battlefield. What a sick card that could have been. Now Restless Reef is down. I have 5 creatures across the board. And there's a sack here. I feel like there's not going to be a whole lot to go forward here with for my opponent. They need exactly double cut down or double one mana removals. They used the Jace to draw. They could have plus, but the only thing with Jace is like plussing. I get to move the sword for free, so it's just like not going to be enough. Very cool. Take the game away and we move on. All right, very cool, very cool. We can start off with this if we want, so we can start getting damage in early. Play the Hexmage, look for this. So this is, you may sacrifice another enchantment or creature. Ooh, wait a minute. What if we just slow it down a turn? Do really cool things. So 1/1, we can do the old Disturbing. We're gonna have to do something, I can tell you that much. We're gonna need that Viper ready to go as quickly as possible. Now a little part of me thinks I should play the Freebooter and the Percussionist. Yeah, I think that's actually the play, weirdly enough. Double attack, there's no way they block, obviously. Then we just look to sack everything and then probably leave this Hexmage back for a turn. because I can sack like the Curse, the Freebooter, and the Percussionist and go that route. I can also block the Freebooter if I want, especially if they double attack here. I will. It's just a Swift Spear attack. I let it go. We'll play another Verge, and I'm gonna do exactly that. Should I attack though? No, Scamp's like a real annoying scenario. You get to make a treasure here, so with that said, I guess if I make the treasure and the Clockwork's on a trigger, I would like the Freebooter to just be there, right? So I can throw it against the wall against something here, I guess. What will you do? This is definitely a weird matchup because Snake is obviously good. They just take a big old fruit bar, a big old bunch of the damage, so it's going to be a little tough. We could lose our Viper this turn. They do a slick shot. Okay. Nothing happens. Interesting. All right. Well, fire this off. Hit this Freebooter up. Freebooter gets chumped for free by a Swift Spear, so it's not like it's getting through. All right, we find a torch, which is very important, and a Braids to close the game. All right. Play a little Percussionist here. Now, we have two options, and I think having the Hexmage swing and the Viper swing makes sense to me. Really threaten out lethal, because again, this is 8 damage plus 6, and then the additional 3. Now they could like sack the Scamp and have it shoot the Percussionist, of course. Are there any blocks coming? Wow. Okay. Interesting. The 3 cards in hand, will lethal be dealt? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, that's for sure. Ooh. What are we doing here? I didn't even get to declare blockers yet. He just fired that off. I'm literally not even at declare blockers. A little hasty from our opponent is going to allow us to get a lot of value potentially. +2, 2. It's dead, my guy. Yeah, the big mistake there from our opponent. We get to come away with it. The problem with the Heartfire hero is once you target it once, it doesn't get that like retarget trigger to happen. My lovely opponent goes first. I'm not a fan of that, but we'll see what they are. Depending what we are means we can set up a talent. Most likely can't set up the talent. Do we torch that right away or do we wait? I kind of want to wait, but the protection spell is just so annoying. Like, it's annoying to have to kind of think about the protection. I'm gonna just pass, I guess. Just hope. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. No protection spell there. The cliffs. Fire this off. Finding a little bit of value here by doing this. Main problem is we're going to have to find removal for this thing. A Shelter by Ghost just blows everything out of the water. Gets to eat a token for free. 2 red means maybe Monstrous Rage plus Shelter by Ghost. It's the only card that typically matters in this matchup against kind of these aggro decks. Like the one we're playing now. Another Slick Shot and a Monstrous Rage is now available. Monstrous Rage can put a counter and then put an additional counter for 3 total counters. So if that's the case, we triple block. I believe that works. That math works out. Unless I'm faded. Yeah, that math works out. So now they should put a counter on the flyer. The deal. So we get that off the board. They have one thing left going for them. We're gonna have to find something good here, or nothing good at all. You know, things happen. Might have to do the mirth and pop the other mirth. Oh, do they have nothing? Oh, interesting. Definitely a tough game so far. I'll play this and can enter. Maybe they have like a burn spell. Looks like they might have like a... Looks like they might have a lightning strike or a shock or something like that. They might get rid of this Hexmage now, which is fine. I'll just sack the other mirth and then I'll get to make a dude. Ooh, it's a soul partition. Interesting. What do we get here? We draw our 2. We get to look here. That seems fine enough with me. Then I'll just pass. Then we'll just flip this, I guess. Yeah. I take a little bit of damage. Just another soul partition. Ooh, that's pretty good. A lot of stuff. Oh boy. Go with the braids here. Play old percussionist. I guess they want to trade some stuff. Double strike doesn't necessarily kill either of those, so I guess I would wait. Sacrifice this. Can't do much. Percussion trigger. A lot of lands. I guess it's going to be our downfall. Which realistically, to be honest, we shouldn't really even have a chance in this match. I think our hand is by far too close. Using a white source is a little bit of a punt. Using this mana is also a punt in my mind. You get a free target off those manifold mouses. I don't know why you wouldn't just use it. But at the end of the day, happens. Double strike. Just swing the flyer, dude. I was gonna say, what are we doing? Well, you know, you can kill both of them. But I don't know if I necessarily have a choice. I guess Braids has to be around to maybe help me grind this game out. Maybe that's a thought. Not exactly what the doctor asked for, I can tell you that. Not even sure that's worth playing. Oh boy. Oh boy. Damn it. Manifest Dread. There's a torch. Please do not go to the end step here. I need this thing so bad. The problem is this flyer is so annoying. Reacher. I get rid of this, or they have one card in hand, and it's been bad so far. So I guess the plan should be this for here. Right. Yeah, maybe. Here's a hero. Definitely a little tough. I don't know how I'm going to close this game out. They can give it haste, give it some double strike nonsense, things like that. We can block with the face down card here if they don't give it trample. They should, I guess. Uh-huh. Well. Interesting. 3 regardless, right? So might as well do the thing that comes back and gives value. Block like that. We'll do the little freebooter. I want the value from it because I have to have the value from it. I think the scry is so important here, and it doesn't end up dying because of that. A Viper can try its best. I still think I'm dead. Yeah. Yeah, so we play here. It doesn't really matter, I guess. That thing haste. This thing in play. Then we cast this thing for like a mana of some sort. And we just need one available. Viper comes in. A haste on this might be enough to do it, I guess. It's 8 damage. It's sacrificed 2. So close. Will be enough? I'm not sure. I don't think if I hold back I win though, right? So if they go block, block, discard, stack, live, I guess, right? But I mean, I don't know. You know what? Ask for the blockers. I don't know. I feel like just waiting, I auto lose the Heartfire hero. No. This is 4 damage for each thing, so they would go to 8. And then Viper alone is lethal if they don't sacrifice 2 things, right? But realistically, it is taxed and... yeah, and it has to be a non-land permanent. I was like, or they can just sack lands and they have lethal on board, but that's not how Viper's worded. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I think they thought I wasn't going to attack out. I wasn't even sure I was attacking out. You think about it, maybe the courage would have been the way to go, giving it haste, but they go to 4, and now they're required to block. And I think they die? Because they can't stop the Braids, right? This is just an enchantment. Yeah. Alright, cool. Coolio. Yeah, I kind of honestly forgot that, I don't know, giving Viper haste is pretty sick. You know what I mean? Sometimes Arena wants to do everything to make you sad. Never mind, I lied. Arena wants to do everything to make me happy. Yeah, so here's a weird one. We keep, and I guess the freebooter goes. Realistically, I almost just wanted to sack everything else. One thing we do have to be cautious of, well, there's Aura's off, so go for the throw for the Viper is pretty bad. One thing I want to be careful of here is I want to attack first, because I want to see if I hit a land or not. And the land we hit. Alright, mate. Let's hear it. Ooh. Not good. That's not good at all. I don't like that at all. Take it back. Take it back now, y'all. Dude, anybody remember doing that at the high school dance? One hop this time. If I get copyright strikes for the first time for like mentioning that because the AI scouring robots decide I need a copyright strike, I'll actually tweak. It'll be over. So a lot's going on. Let it all happen. I'm not gonna budge at all. I'm going for this. You can counter this if they'd like. You can Fairy Mastermind if they'd like. I have a Viper and I love him. Alright, so no more lies. Like how they like, I don't know if they did it, but the game like highlighted the creatures. Temporary lockdown, we just lose. Alright, we don't just lose, but it feels like we did. No, not 2 lands, please. Okay. No, you know, kind of the same thing. Kind of. Split Up's a tough card to beat, huh? I guess, because I can play it here. It's only, what, copy number 4, I think? Yeah. You know. Wizards of the Coast, you know. Love their goofy 4 revs in our deck. We're in. They're at 12. I do have a Viper that's pretty well castable here. I would love to find the Enduring Courage to kind of use that card, but fire this off. Goes up to 3. Maybe they blow it up, I guess. No. You looking to interact with me, bud? I would like to dodge if so. Okay. Huh? Yes. Okay. That card. Silly boy. Another matchup is kind of tough. It's allowed to be around because ley line doesn't exist. Buddy help. Gonna hold up their whole counter spell magic just to counter one silly little percussionist. Honestly, I'm just gonna do this instead. This also gives haste. Submit 0. So I learned that, but this also gives haste, so that allows my Viper to have haste if they do something silly like tap out to find a land next turn. Because then I can just like, I don't know, spin. Don't you son of a. I mean, it makes my Viper better. Please don't lock down me, smile. Interesting.
No more distractions.
I think they have a. Well, it didn't hold. No. I think they have a. No more lies held up.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
All right. Well. Do this one. And can they really counter my percussionist here? That's so annoying. Land, please. Another soul petition? Okay, my bad, brother. I wanted to go for the Viper. I just felt like I couldn't. Having the -1, it felt so bad to lose all the value in play, right? There's a go for the throat, so like, it's so crazy because everything kind of had answers, right? I can pay around no more lies. They can have soul partition ×4 at this point. Okay. I guess this one. I don't have a creature. Let me just pass. Yeah, so far, I mean, everything's been pretty good. We had a really good start, just to get hit with a split up, and they've just had all removal for the most part. So, this is what it is. Now they go for a big boy play. Interesting. Decide tapping out now is the way, and they miss. So interesting. And a +1 on last card. It's also a land.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Mamma mia. Liliana can ult here. That's insane. Gets a +1/+1. This isn't all the way up, so let's see it. See your Lily ult file, I guess. Wow. Okay.
Sacrifices must be made.
I feel like I would just go for an ult there. I feel like you have no reason not to. Viper was right on top and it would have came in with haste. Oh, that sucks. Is it weird that we... Is it weird that, like... It's just almost lethal like this? We had that other land, this would have been lethal. What a wild kind of exchange, huh? Weird. This is an enchantment, so that doesn't work. We can do an artifact. Problem is, we just don't get there. I don't think we have a way out. Guess I need to know what we're drawing. I don't draw that till end step, I guess. Yeah, it's wild. We were just right there. A little bit more damage and we would have gotten it. But we'll see if they activate the land and kill me. Or if they overthink it. Kind of one of the spots where you look for a paid actor. Alright, they did it. Oh boy, you know, I feel like that game was so close. That Viper coming off the top and them for whatever reason tapping out again and again. That's always the tough part, man. It's like whenever they tap out, if we would have drew that Viper off the top instead, because it was there, they did mill us with the land, which makes sense. Like, I don't, but like, man, they tap down, that Viper comes in, it gets the attack, and just, I don't know, man. That'd have been a crazy turn of events, and we would have won that game, but sometimes we come up short, and that's one of them. All right, here we are. This deck was better than expected, but I still am not sold that this is just better than, like, a worse version of the blue-black deck, and one of the main reasons for that is just, like, I don't know. I feel like this card just doesn't do anything. It's so good when my opponent plays it against me. Also, I just realized something. Now that I just said that out loud, I'm missing the black spell that sacks a permanent and exiles something. I just realized. Very sick. But yeah, this is a card that just sometimes feels like it doesn't do anything or does everything, and I'm not really sure why. It's just like, this card's either cracked or, like, why did I put it in my deck? You know what I mean? But with that said, I mean, this deck overall was fine. I think this card's really cool. I think it was a sweet way to do it, but we can also do it with the enchantment. But, like, as we saw in that very last game, Braids was almost lethal from 12. We came up short. This was on top of our library, so if we would have drawn it, they would have lost the game because we would have had 3 triggers. They only had a card in hand and then plus 2 cards in play, so if they would have sacrificed it all, it would have nothing going for them, and then this also would have hit them for, like, 8. So with that said, like, fell short, but it is what it is. This deck is cool. We did get to do kind of the thing a couple of times pretty quickly. Is like, I guess we can kind of put the, like, a little combo type stuff together. Is like, this makes 2 permanents. This is just a good sack outlet. This makes 2 permanents, but also has good upside on it in our deck whenever we're trying to give something like a Viper haste. Or if we could have, man, I guess if we could have just, I just realized, like, if we would have just activated this, we also got there because the creature would have got double strike. But, I mean, it is what it is. But the Percussionist is, like, super sweet just because it is also, like, really good sack fodder and the Gleeful Demolition. Honestly, more than anything, I think with, like, the versatility of, like, temporary lockdown and things, I might even go down on the Gleeful Demolitions. I think we have enough to get us there and do something like this just to make sure I'm consistently hitting a card that matters. And Braids matters a lot when it comes to just card draw. I think overall, like, the reason this card's so valuable is the fact that it is our card draw along with, like, the Fanatical Offering. Because without card draw, a lot of times we kind of just play a snake and we lose because we don't really have a lot going on. So if they have a go for a throat, or we're against, like, that Simic deck and they have the bounce spells, we just need to find a threat like Braids that can just generate value over and over and over again that they're kind of forced to interact with. And then as kind of soon as they do, that's when we strike with the Viper after, like, maybe we got a Courage online or something. But other than that, The deck did run well. I think we went positive on the day overall. I think it was like a 5-2, or maybe a little less than that, maybe like a 4-2. I'm not entirely sure. I played a couple of matches before I recorded, so I don't quite know where we were whenever I did that. So outside of that, gonna do it for me. This deck was cool. Final note, I guess. I always forget to do this until the very end. Yeah, I would argue pretty well like on the route of a budget deck overall. As you can see, there's only kind of these 10 rares here and 4 mythics along with the lands, and the rest of these are common and uncommon. So it is kind of got that value going for it. I don't know if anything from Foundations adds to this. There's 8 kajillion cards in Foundations, so I have no idea what we're going to be able to put in this deck, if this deck is viable then, or if like other decks get too strong like Mono Red Burn will be. So who really knows? But outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.